Same sound. Check, check. No, that sounds pretty good. All right, so I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Which one of you guys wants the underwear?
The underwear?
Yeah, you heard about those?
No, where is it?
I was going out by that door last week and I bought them dinner.
Oh, you did?
Underwear, boxes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, they might be wanting somebody at the police department, so I put them over by that door, the next day they were
They're
gone.
gone.
Sorry, so one of you guys is going in and out the door and dropped it. And, you know, they didn't look dirty or anything, it was a nice pair of black boxes.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta ask who then.
Yeah, something, so I left them over there, that door, and the next day when I came, they were gone,
They're
so.
gone. That's awesome.
Someone must have found their
I
underwear.
would take you for that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mic number 7, check 1, 2. Yep, all right. I'll go with it.
Good evening for our December ZBA meeting, our last meeting of 2022. We'll start, as we always do, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
David, could you read the roll?
Dave Hennessy,
Here.
Jim Bergeron,
Here.
Dave Wing, here. John Westwood, not here. Jeff Chara,
Here.
Sean Hamilton, not here. Ken Stanvik,
Here.
Jason Goucher, Goucher.
Here.
Jennifer Beauregard,
Here.
Jordan Isabel,
Here.
and
We welcome our new alternate. Ken, welcome to our board. Appreciate your coming and joining us. We could use some more if anyone else would like to join us. And Ken, you're going to be voting tonight. We only have 4 permanent members, full-time members, so thank you for attending as an alternate, because you never know when we really need you, like tonight. So could you read the first? We have only one case tonight, which is a nice change from what we've been going through lately. So we'll start with the abutters list.
minutes.
Mr. Chairman.
Minutes, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you. These two guys keep me right on top of things, I appreciate that. Are there any changes or alterations to the minutes of November 14th? I know you've all memorized it and gone through it. Any changes, alterations, grammatical errors? Accept a motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to accept the minutes of November 14th, 2022.
November 14th. Any, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, let's go into the abutters list.
Got to read the case title first.
This is case Z0-2022, last of the year, number 24. A variance request from Troy Thistle.
Constance Loshi, Virginia Beach, Virginia. John Patterson, Pelham, New Hampshire. Matthew Thompson, Pelham, New Hampshire. Randy Favreau, Pelham, New Hampshire. Lance and Lori Ouellette, Pelham, New Hampshire. Troy Thistle, Chelmsford, Mass. The Ouellette Family Revocable Trust, Lance and Lori Ouellette, trustees, Pelham, New Hampshire. John Patterson, Pelham, New Hampshire. Angela Terry, Pelham, New Hampshire. Sorry. Jay and Donna Bebo, Pelham, New Hampshire. Cindy Ronning, Pelham, New Hampshire. Emily and Ernest Iannotti, Pelham, New Hampshire. Mark and Carolyn Descarteret, Pelham, New Hampshire. Deborah and Linda Costa, Pelham, New Hampshire. Joanne Shelton and Shelton 2015 Family Trust, and Charles F. Shelton Revocable Living Trust, Methuen, Mass. Christopher Stanwich II, Pelham, New Hampshire. Kevin R. Howe Realty, Lowell, Mass. Lee Lucht Trust, 2019, Allison and Philip Lucht trustees, Pelham, New Hampshire. George Maglione Jr., Revere, Mass. The Campbell Grove Association, care of Raymond Gladue, Pelham, New Hampshire. Gary Sifferlin and Javier Rivera, Pelham, New Hampshire. And additional, Shane Gendron, Edward N. Herbert Associates, Wyndham, Mass.
Is there anyone whose name was not called who has a statutory interest or is an immediate abutter to this property? Is there anyone here who is an immediate abutter or has a statutory interest in this case and whose name was not read? Hearing none. Before we start, this comes up way too often, but I Constance Loshi, the first name on your list of abutters, is a relative of my wife's, and I recently represented her in a real estate transaction that never went through. I am looking to see if there's any objection for me staying on the case. I don't believe there is a statutory reason for me to recuse, nor do I see any obstacle to being fair on this case. But if you feel strongly, I'd like to hear that. Okay. We'll proceed then. Tell us why you're here.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Shane Gendron. I'm employed with Herbert Associates. My office is in Windham, New Hampshire, just for the record. With me tonight is the owner of the property, Troy Thistle. He's owned this property along with 15 and 17 Gaston Road since 2020. 15 and 17 have two existing homes on them. One is occupied by his daughter, and the other one is occupied by a long-term renter who's been there almost 30 years. In the purchase of these properties, one of the properties that Troy picked up was this 11-152 known as 8 Gaston Street. He hired our office to do a couple things for him. We've been working on the boundaries on all 3 parcels. We're working on a new septic design for 15 and 17. And he asked about what would be the opportunity to be able to build a garage on this lot, 152, that would be used kind of as an accessory use for the other 2 properties as a garage to park vehicles out of the weather. Currently, neither of those homes have any type of garage or anything. So we put together a variance application, and what we're looking to do is do a 24 by 24 2-car garage with some area over the top that eventually could be converted into some sort of a bonus room or something. Keeping in mind that this is going to be used as accessory to the other 2 properties, so there's no well, there's no septic system, and we understand that, and we think that, you know, really what's the use of the property is, you know, a pretty low use. It's just going to be a garage. On Gaston Street, I handed out some photos to you folks. I put them up on the board. The first photo is just a picture of the lot. It's kind of wooded. It has about 126 feet of frontage on Gaston Road, and it slopes up about 10 feet to the back of the property.
Could we have that on the screen, please? Jim?
Does he want this one? Put it on there.
There you go.
There, he can see it.
Thank you.
So the idea is to build the garage basically into the hill. So from Gaston Street, we would have the 2 garage doors you can see on the architectural that is over there on the board. It would be like a drive under, and then some living space over the top. We also submitted a complete set of architecturals that basically show how the garage will absorb that slope. So it'll have a full foundation in the rear and then step down on the sides to a full walkout at the street level at Gaston Street. The total height on the building, hold on one moment. From the rear is 16.6, and from the Gaston Street side, what is it? 27 feet. I'm just going to check that. It's on that one up there. It's on the one up at the board. Sorry.
(16.6) plus the 10 feet.
26.6, excuse me. So from the Gaston Street side, the height of the garage is 26.6, and from the back of the garage, at grade, because there's a 10-foot rise in the lot, it's 16.6 to the peak of the roof. Really, about the variance, it's an area style variance. We're looking for dimensional relief. It's an undersized lot. The lot only has 3,270 square feet. Obviously, we have an acre requirement here in the town of Pelham. It's short on frontage, and we're looking for some relief for side setbacks. We're looking at 3 feet to Gaston Road front property line. We're looking for 8 feet on the sides and the rear. So it's a basic area style variance. I handed out, as part of the application a tax map that shows the lot highlighted in pink. It's a unique lot, and I think what makes it probably the most unique on Gaston Street is it's the only vacant lot that's really not developed at this point. And we think doing a small 24 by 24 garage maybe makes sense for this property. It gives Mr. Thistle some use of the property, while not proposing another house with a septic system and a well that's going to put a drain on the neighborhood. Also, I just wanted to point out that Gaston Road has kind of a history of garages being built that are kind of standalone, because that's another unique part of this variance, is that we're asking to build a garage where it's not an accessory use to a house that's located on the lot. It's going to be a standalone. So there's two garages rather, that are on Gaston Street. Both of them are on slightly larger lots. One of them is almost 6,000 square feet lot, so it's about twice the size, but it's a much bigger garage. And that is down the lower left-hand corner of the photos that I handed out to you. And then also abutting us, that's quite a bit larger lot, but that also has a garage very similar to the one that Mr. Thistle would like to build. If the board has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Why don't we go through the 5 criteria?
Sure. One, the variance is not contrary to public interest. The proposed project will not interfere with the use of Gaston Road or Campbell Road or alter the essential character of this neighborhood. The spirit of the ordinance is observed because the proposed use does not conflict with any of the purposes in the zoning ordinance as stated in 307-2. Developing this site with a modestly sized 2-story garage with a driveway that will provide suitable access to Gaston Street will be in keeping with the purpose stated in 307-2. Substantial justice is done. It will allow the owner to make reasonable use of his property. 4, values of surrounding properties are not diminished. The garage will be attractively designed in keeping with surrounding properties. It will meet all the current building, energy, health, and safety codes and should be an enhancement to the area. The parcel is currently vacant and adds little value to any surrounding parcels. 5, AI, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because this is a lot of record and has a shortage of acreage and frontage. The proposed use will not conflict with any of the stated purposes in 307-2. Although this lot is undersized and does not conform with current zoning standards, the lot still maintains adequate area to locate a garage. The proposed use will be approved by the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services Shoreline Protection Agency. And 2, the proposed use is reasonable one because this lot is in the residential zone where construction of a garage is permitted. The proposed garage will be an enhancement to the area as the parcel is currently a vacant lot. It will allow the owner to park his vehicles out of the weather. And then B, if in criteria A above is not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. A hardship exists and the lot was created prior to many of the current regulations and cannot meet the current lot sizing, setback, or frontage requirements. The owner is looking to build an attractive 2-story garage on the lot, which will allow him to make reasonable use of his property without negatively impacting the neighborhood. Adequate land does not exist on this parcel for the owner to build a primary structure to attach to this garage. However, it will be used as accessory to his 2 other lots, map 30, lot 11, 150, and 151.
Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. You know, what we're trying to do is fit the garage in as best we can with the land. It slopes quite a bit, so we've kind of designed the garage to work with that. And I think if you look at the plans, you'll see that. And I think it gives Mr. Thistle some reasonable use of the lot. We're not trying to overcrowd the pond down there with another resident that's going to be claiming it as a domicile.
Okay. Any of the members have any questions? Yes. David? Let me just add, we have a new member tonight. This board, historically and to this day, allows alternate members to participate in the discussion. You obviously can't vote, but if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and be recognized by me, okay?
Thank you.
The 4th photo, is there,
The 4th photo, which one are you looking at?
it looks like a house?
That's Mr. Thistle's house.
But this is house, okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like 11, 150, 151 are directly across the street from this property?
Yes, that's right.
What is on 153 and 154, which are directly behind?
There's a single-family home on, let me just look at the tax map so I make sure I get this right. 11153, directly behind the garage is a newly constructed single-family home. And what was the other lot you would ask me about?
154?
150.
Looks like it's L-shaped.
Well, yeah, 154 has that white garage that has the BMW parked in the parking lot. So it has that garage, and it has a septic system that is for
Okay.
lot 158 on that lot.
So technically you'll be, will this garage be blocking a view? Is that the,
It's not our intention to block anyone's view. So if you look at it from the street level at Gaston Street for lot 11153, the one that you just asked me about.
Yeah.
That front yard is about 10 feet higher.
Yeah.
The height of my garage from their ground level is only 16 feet.
okay.
So I don't see how I can make it much lower than that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Question, what's the purpose of the second floor?
Right now, it's just going to be a storage area. In the future, he might like to have some sort of a bonus room or office or something like that, something that he could use with the house. So if you look at the photo, the brown house is the house that probably the garage would go with. It's a pretty small house, so it would be nice to have a little extra space to have something.
What utilities are planned to go along with this to take care of what you just mentioned?
The upstairs room is just going to be a room, might be heated, will have electricity.
So is that like electric heater you're talking?
Yeah, I don't know, he may put propane heat in, but we don't have a well and we don't have septic going to it.
I have no questions.
Yes, David?
So I'm presuming there's nothing there now.
Just a paved parking area for some
It is
cars.
paved, so are you adding to the?
We're going to change the configuration of the pavement slightly. And I didn't mention this in the application, but it was in the variance app, that we are within the shoreline protection. So there's a big, heavy, dark line that goes through your plot plan.
Yeah.
That's the 150-foot shoreline setback. Shoreline protection goes back to 250 feet jurisdictional. So we have to get a shoreline permit. So the first step is come to zoning board, present it. If we get an approval tonight, then we'll work through the shoreline permitting process. But he's going to have to pay fees and do a full shoreline application to build a garage.
You did have that in your 5 criteria.
Yes, we did.
I'd welcome a stipulation that if this is approved, that an approval from shoreline protection would be required.
Yeah, I will make that motion that.
Second? You have a question on it?
Yeah. Does this exist currently today?
No.
That somebody owns a property that's just a garage?
No. No, there's nothing on the property right now.
I'm trying to think
On
if
this
it
property,
sound like-
but there's 2 other garages that sit
Right.
independently on Gaston Street.
They're separate lot numbers, tax.
Yes.
tax-
Right, there's 2 other lots that have only a garage on them.
Okay. So let's take up the stipulation. All those in favor of adding that as a stipulation?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So that will be added, put that in the minutes. If this is approved, we're going to require an approval from shoreline protection. It's unusual because ordinarily, of course, that gets coupled with a septic design approval. At the same time, we have shoreline approval. This is not going to have the septic design approval. Any other questions from the board? Yes, sir.
Is there any plans to expand this as a business, or is this strictly for a private?
No, this is just ancillary to the house. It's just going to be an accessory use. No commercial use or anything
And
like
what's
that.
going to be stored in there?
Right. What are you going to store above the garage?
Water stuff, I mean, just regular household stuff. I mean, I have canoes and kayaks and whatnot that, you know, I have nowhere to put now in the property, so.
What kind of additional equipment would be stored at the bottom of
You
the
speak into the mic, please.
What type of additional equipment will be stored in the bottom of the garage? Is this strictly for cars? Is it
Yeah, for
for
cars.
2 cars, yeah.
It's a 2-car garage.
cars only?
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, we're going, yes,
Is
Jeff?
Lot 11 Yeah, lot 11, 153. Is that I'm looking at here on the picture right here?
Yep.
That's that one?
Oh, 11, I don't have a picture of the house on 11-153, no.
What is this one here? The picture of, is this a house?
It's a garage. Is it the White House with the?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a garage. With, similar, it's got a bonus room over the top.
Do you know the acreage on that one?
I think that's .2. That's 11-154. But 11-153 is improved with a single-family home, and the size is very similar to this lot.
All set, Jeff? You all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this proposal? Before I open it up to opposition, I have a note that was given to me by our planning director on the occupant of, the owner of 30-11-181, 24 Campbell Road, Lee Lucht, L-U-C-H-T, concerning the so-called garage, 2 stories across from the driveway. She doesn't see how 2 cars can park. She's opposed to this. So I just want to read that into the record, because I didn't do that the last time, and all kinds of people mad at me. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in opposition or has questions about this proposal? Yes. Just identify yourself and your address.
My name's Ed Romitis, 8 Andover Street.
I'm Cindy Ronning, 8 Andover Street.
We're not necessarily against this proposal, we just have some questions.
Okay.
Just to give you a little background, January 14th of this past year, unfortunately, I suffered a stroke. There was about 6 inches of snow on the ground. It was around 11 o'clock at night. It wasn't an active snowstorm. It had snowed 2 or 3 days prior. We called the ambulance. The ambulance arrived. I was put on the ambulance. Gaston Road, Andover Street is a circle. The ambulance decided to go around the circle, and on the first corner, which is the corner of Andover Street and Gaston Road, the ambulance got stuck in the snowbank. Luckily, he was able to back up. The attendant told me that he put it in four-wheel drive, and he was able to plow through the snow, and he got me to the hospital on time. Unfortunately, within a week, I had to call the ambulance 2 more times. The second time the ambulance came out, it was about a week later. He made note of the corner, to avoid that corner of Gaston and Andover. He turned around in my driveway. The third time, he decided to back out Andover Street to Campbell Road and onto the hospital. About 3 years ago, we had a pretty heavy snowstorm. There was over a foot of snow, and at the time, the town was still plowing the neighborhood, Gaston and Andover Street. At the same time, the town plow showed up, got stuck on the corner of Andover and Gaston, and simultaneously a trash truck was leaving Gaston, tried to take that corner onto Campbell, which is a very steep hill, right where they want to build this garage. Went halfway up the hill, slid down the hill, and got wedged between the telephone pole, which is right on the corner, and the snowbank. Luckily, one of the neighbors came home for lunch. He's a snowplower. He was able to pull the town snowplow out, and then he called in a larger sander truck larger plow truck from his company. They were able to plow out the steep hill on Campbell and sand it so that eventually the trash truck was able to get out. This took over an hour. So for over an hour, both sides of Gaston Road were blocked. So if there was an emergency, an ambulance or a fire truck had to get in, they wouldn't have been able to get in for at least an hour. So the first question I have is the 3 feet that they want to build a garage off of Gaston. First of all, I believe the roadbed is only 12 feet, 11 feet wide, right in front of where they want to build this garage. So is the 3 feet off the right-of-way, or is the 3 feet off the paved roadway of Gaston?
Shane, if you can answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's off the property line.
Off the
We
property
asked-
line?
We asked for relief from the property line.
Okay.
Gaston Street's quite a bit narrower than,
Okay.
So that would be off the right-of-way?
yes.
And the second question I have, do they have a certified plot plan? Or in the past, you didn't need a certified plot plan to build a garage?
Shane?
So we've done a full survey on the property. We're good with the boundary. When he goes to build the garage, we'll do a plan like this that has our surveyor's stamp on it.
Will it be a certified plot plan? We've gone through this before.
Yes,
And I wanna-
it'll be certified by a licensed
So you would certify
surveyor.
that those boundaries are absolutely correct, and that the road is not any larger, the right-of-way is not any larger than 12 or 14 feet, that's what's there right now. Because in front of our house, it's about 30 feet wide, 20 to 30 feet wide, and not just 12.
Can I interrupt a little bit here? As anyone who's watched these hearings know, we often do site plans, site walks on properties down at the pond. I have that note from an abutter questioning building the garage there. You're questioning what has been questioned by the select board here in town. They are asserting in a case that has been sent to court, their authority to not allow construction of an undeveloped property in that neighborhood. I don't know, we don't know, whether they will so assert that right in the case of a garage, not a dwelling. So I don't know the answer to whether or not this is going to be required to go before the select board, meaning the planning board, for recommendation to the select board. So I don't know whether that's going to be a requirement for you, Shane, and I don't know. You don't know, but if it's going to be required, you may be facing that.
Yeah.
Want to add something?
No, I don't. I can find out from town council whether or not, as of right now, the selectmen have not been hearing cases of garages, but there's been some talk, and we're not quite sure yet if they will.
But your comments about safety and health, that's where their concern lies. So that's why I'm bringing it up at this point. I can't answer for them. I'm not going to attempt to. My suggestion may be to the rest of the members to have a site walk to give everyone some time to ascertain whether the select board and planning board, with their advice, is going to have to weigh in on this if we grant the variance, especially with your comments regarding health and safety questions on that road. So I will hear other abutters if they have any other questions, any questions from the members, but I'm going to be taking a vote on whether to do a site walk or not.
That's a very sharp corner, and the
it is.
telephone pole is right there, so if he builds the garage, there's not much hope that we're going to be able to move that telephone pole off that corner.
I'm well aware of the location.
I know you are.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the input. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in opposition or has questions about this application?
Mr. Chairman, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, these are private drives. I don't know if they were private drives 3 years ago. The last time we did a
They are.
sidewalk, I think, was
They are.
maybe a year, 2 years ago.
Yes, they are. They're private roads.
Does the town have any jurisdiction on
They are
utilities?
asserting jurisdiction, as you know, in a couple of cases we've had.
That's right, I'm sorry.
And they are asserting jurisdiction. As to a garage versus a dwelling, I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is, I'm alerting the applicant, if we grant a variance, you may also be facing planning board and the selectmen. You'll have to talk to them. Anyone else who would like to speak in opposition or has a question about this application? Yes, sir. Come on up.
John Charest, 5 Methuen Road. I wasn't notified, but I'm very concerned about our neighborhood, and
Say your name and address, and you were not notified?
no, and I'm pretty sure I'm within 200 feet.
Can we check on that? I appreciate your coming.
No problem. Yeah,
Go ahead.
thank you. Now, we sub out our contracting down there for our plowing, and I'm very concerned about these setbacks on this. One of them is 5 feet off the road. That's going to be a problem for the plows. We're already considered a Class B road down there, and we're trying
Well-
to make it better, and, you know... and
You're a
this is gonna-
private road.
Yes.
Private
yeah,
road.
And this is going to put a end to widening our roads if he is allowed to do this. And as far as I'm concerned, anything that benefits Lance Willett, I definitely stand up against it.
Lance is not a party in this case, so
No, he's not, but he lives right there. And this is going to benefit him somehow.
I don't know.
Yeah. But
Would you-
I
would you-
am the backup plan for the plow.
Would you recommend a
Neighborhood.
sidewalk?
I would, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
That's
thank
it.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Anyone else like to speak in opposition or has a question? Seeing none, oh, yes, sir, come on up. I promised Shane I'd be out of here by 8:30.
Liar.
Kevin Crooker, 2 Andover Street.
Yes, sir.
I'm not in a butter, but probably 250 feet away or so. I'm not against the project at all. He's got a piece of land, he should be able to do something with it, I believe. I'm concerned about the setback on Gaston. On the plans, there is a 30-foot road that's supposed to go through there.
There's lots of plans on that
This,
road.
on surveying, you know, from 1941, I'm sure you've seen it.
Seen many plans on that.
Yeah, well, I've seen it, yeah, well, when it was laid out. I'm not a surveyor, I'm not, all I'm saying is, there's like, if I'm correct, is it 3-foot setback from Gaston? Right, is
Shane?
proposed?
3 foot, is that right?
So there's actually a 3-foot, the closest that the building actually is 5 feet, but there's a little deck that sticks out of the second floor that juts out a little bit. That's the 3 feet.
So can I ask, again,
Me.
I don't know any of the laws
No,
on
no,
that.
just
It's just,
through me, you can ask anything
there's
you
like an
want.
8-foot setback in the back, correct? Am I wrong on that?
Probably.
Then why couldn't we flip that and put it, because I'm worried about snow removal. There's no room for snow at 3, you know, let's face it.
I think you've
Snowbank's
just-
gonna crush right against the
All right,
guys.
I think you just made the case for a site walk. I think we need to have
Well,
to visualize what's there.
I'm not
No,
trying
it's,
to make any waves, it's just,
no, it's not waves.
and I got nothing against this man, or anybody. I mean, he should be able to do something with that piece
As
of
no,
land.
as,
It's just,
as familiar as I am with that particular area,
why can't he just push it back
I think I
to,
need a site walk.
put a foot or so off the back thing where it doesn't matter?
Unfortunately, I'm afraid if we schedule a site walk, that almost guarantees a major blizzard for the day that we have this site walk.
Yeah, well, I don't like the winter either.
All right, I'm going to take a halt right here. Could I have a, I mean, what's your feeling,
So-
folks?
I'm not against it, Troy, okay?
I appreciate it, thank you.
I'm not.
I think we need a site walk. but it's up to you. If you, the other folks are gonna have to go, and I promised to show up this time. I didn't last time.
I make a motion for a site walk.
Second.
All right, any opposition? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Hank, we're going to continue. Let me continue my spiel on sidewalks right now, okay? A sidewalk is a public hearing like this. We will go on the site. You are going to agree to allow us to go on your property and look at it, and hopefully Shane's going to arrange for an 8-foot pole or so to show the outlines of this garage. The reason I say 8-foot, because we'll probably have a 6-foot blizzard the day before. We want to just see where that's going to be in relationship to the road. Butters, any interested parties are welcome to go. All questions will be through me, and we will, it shouldn't take long. We'll look, we want to see where the outline is. I tempted to require a balloon, but given December in New Hampshire, it's if you can. If you can't, you can't, and we'll eyeball it and see where the height is going to be for around the neighbors. Could I have a date suggestion, folks? When would you like to do this? We've got Christmas coming up, we have New Year's coming up, and we have already a butter saying this is the most dangerous corner outside of the Indianapolis 500.
It looks like your next meeting in January is the 9th.
All right. You want to try for Saturday, this Saturday?
I'm okay with Saturday.
Hmm?
I am okay with Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
Yeah.
So that would be the 17th? Saturday, the 17th? 9 o'clock? Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Shane, can you set it up for then?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So I will be there, especially if I ask my wife to wake me up in time. And sidewalk. And we will continue this hearing. We will continue this hearing at that sidewalk and then further continue it to a date certain at the next meeting. Okay?
January 9th.
January 9th. Yes, sir.
Could I ask for a specific location to meet at the sidewalk, or the sidewalk?
Sounds like this is, we're taking our lives in our hands just driving down this road from what we're hearing.
I might want to add that at a previous site walk at the Conservation Commission, which was on 38, one of the members' cars was hit while it was parked on the side of the road. So we do have to be careful and consider the, you know,
Understand,
conditions.
this is weather permitting, I understand there is some bad weather coming in.
Right.
But I'm going to assume that it's going to be okay. This road is not the longest thing in town. Yes, sir? It's not a high-traffic road. It's not a high-traffic, I know it's not a high-traffic road. And I think we can find enough places to stash our cars to get in there. So we're going to say 9 a.m., and this will be on, on Campbell in Gaston. Corner Campbell and Gaston, correct? Okay, all right.
Is there a street number or something that goes with it?
I think you're going to be able to tell. When you come there, you will have some of us already there, you'll have some abutters there. Again, this should not take but 10, 15 minutes, just to see visually what's being described here. How far off the road, the grade of the road, location. I don't think it'll take much time.
Yeah, I just
I
want
know
to make
the
sure I
area.
know where I'm going, that's all.
Okay?
You want to take Campbell off Dutton?
Okay.
Campbell off Dutton, that's correct. If you have to, park at my house and we'll walk. Okay? Yes?
So I did check on Mr. Charest's property, and it looks like he's just outside of the 200 feet, according to NRPC live maps.
Okay. Any further comments before we put this aside? Yes? Come on up. I didn't mean to shut you off, but
That's all right.
I could see where this was going.
Cindy Ronning, 8 Andover. That small little lot is on a hill, so there's got to be some considerations. If it passes, that he has to have proper drainage, proper gutters into dry wells, because that pond is absorbing a lot of salt from all the neighboring roads, and it's just deteriorating faster than it should be.
On those comments, could we notify, it's too late to officially notify the Conservation Commission, but could we notify the Chair of Conservation to let the members know and invite members of Conservation to attend this 9 o'clock walk?
Thank you.
I think that would be appropriate.
Sure.
Jane?
Just to respond to that, the percentage on this is like around 24, 25% on impervious. That puts me into a shoreline permit that I have to do some sort of infiltration. So we'll propose some dry wells or some drip edge or something to handle that.
Okay.
Typically, we don't talk about that with this board, is more
No, we don't.
dimensional, but
But given the abutters' concerns of
It will be
the immediate
addressed.
neighbors, and we have already stipulated you have to get a shoreline permit, so I was aware that you would have to do that.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we'll see you Saturday,
sounds good.
weather permitting.
Thank you.
Bring hot cocoa. Okay? Any other questions? Any questions, any comments before we adjourn? I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, if I don't see you at the sidewalk, Happy New Year, and I want to thank all of you for an interesting 2022. I think that's the way we're going to put it. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.